Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for mid-November 2022. And we're going to take a look at your five main themes for this month. And you start off with this chain of events that will affect your life. It says chain on it. So I do feel that there are some things clearly that are happening, that like some things that are falling into place that are obviously going to affect your life. Just looking at your five main themes, but also looking at the rest of your reading, I feel for a lot of you that this is partially intuitive, like you are getting intuitive messages that are creating connections. And I feel like connections is a word that I'm getting, but I also feel like connections are super important. It's like maybe you're seeing the connection between multiple things in your life and you're kind of looking at the results that are being created. It's interesting that you have this chain card. You also have this anchor card at the end. And they're popping into my head as connected. It's like, obviously, and it's like if you're on a boat, there is always a chain connecting the anchor to the boat. And so I feel like this is like what's been missing. I don't know. The two things are kind of popping into my head, which is kind of weird how this is coming together. But I feel like there's an important chain of events happening. I really feel you need to trust your intuition at this time as well, because I feel like you're getting conflicting ideas. You know, these could be conflicting ideas from your logic, your logical side of your brain. Could also be conflicting ideas from people in your life. It's almost as if the last maybe couple of years or so have been encouraging you to learn how to trust yourself, and I feel that's what's going on here. You also have this pig card. It says beware of greed on it. Very clearly, just looking at this reading, I feel like you've learned a lesson in regards to greed, not as in you are greedy, but I feel for some of you this is in love. It's like maybe someone just wanted to keep themselves, keep you for themselves, right? And they did things to make sure that you wouldn't leave. For example, I have a weird situation popping into my head like that. Like maybe you're now realizing that a person from the past was toxic. It's kind of funny also that it's popping into my head from the past. It's like you've learned a lesson, but you could just be reflecting on these things. We have a lot of retrogrades going on right now, so it wouldn't really surprise me if you were reflecting on these things. And again, this isn't like we're living in the past. We're examining this so that we can avoid it in the future, and that's what's going on here. You're not living in the past. So, I want to make sure that I make that clear. This is like something that is going to greatly increase your stability according to this anchor card at the end. You also have this pin card. It says new job or career on it. I kind of feel it's one of those things where it's like if you want it, it's there, which is funny. It's like sometimes I think we have a job, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, it's a job, right? But maybe there's something better if we go and look for it, and that's kind of like the feeling I get here. I don't think this reading is like saying, oh, you have to leave your job if you have one. I feel like it's saying if you want something better and you look for it, you're going to find it. If not, I feel like you'll be perfectly fine as well, so it's not like, I don't think this is I think the universe is just pointing out an opportunity here. You also have this dog barking card. It says advice from a friend. Very strange because you're getting the opposite advice of what you would think from a friend. So I think normally maybe you'd get advice in one direction from this friend. If you have a friend giving you advice, I feel like they're telling you to, like what they're telling you, I think is not what you would normally think they would say. I hope that makes sense. But I also feel whatever they say is the correct advice. It's almost like your friend, or you could have a friend that's like channeling advice, I feel, intuitively. Pretty interesting. You start off here in your current general energies with this full moon in Aquarius. It says be real on it. You also have this new moon in Libra. It says know you are loved. So, I feel that you need to love yourself a little bit here because you have the star as well. The star is, of course, you, Aquarius, sorry. But I also kind of get this feeling of needing to kind of just like be nice to yourself, be kind to yourself for the rest of this month, take care of yourself, all that other good stuff, right? Really love on yourself, tell yourself you're enough, and, all that other good stuff. I think it'll just kind of, number one, help keep you motivated, and that's literally the word that's popping into my head is that you need to kind of stay motivated at this time, but I think it'll just lead to some good results. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the Star. There's some sort of leap of faith that needs to happen. This Fool card, while I was shuffling for this row, I don't know if you saw it in the pre-shuffle, but it popped out. It like kind of popped out of the deck, so I took it here. And, I feel there's like a leap of faith you need to take towards something that's probably outside your comfort zone. And, I don't know. You and Leo, your opposite sign, Leo, right? It's like you two always get the same message with me about that pretty much says everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. And I feel like what's over there on the other side, so to speak, for you, Aquarius, is true stability. It's like maybe you've been in a situation like in work or in a relationship. I have a specific story popping in here where it's like you've been in a situation. I think you thought that it brought you stability, but it's like you're being shown another way. The messages are just like pouring through as well. It wouldn't surprise me if some of you were exhausted. If you're like if you're sleeping through the night but waking up exhausted, it wouldn't surprise me if you're doing like dream work on the other side. You could be having crazy dreams where you're like actually physically doing things. Like, you ever have one of those like real dreams that seems real? And it's like you're doing something in the dream, like working out or, I don't know, moving dirt or something, right? And I kind of get that feeling where you could be having these crazy dreams. I'm an Aquarius rising, and I've definitely been having crazy dreams. And what I would say here is that, it's like you're doing work. I feel like you're kind of doing spiritual work, but I do feel there's a need for you to take some sort of leap of faith here. I feel like you have enough evidence, which I say to you all the time, Aquarius. Like every single reading I do for you, I feel like all the readings say that you have the evidence to trust something. Like if you want to start a business, I feel like you have the evidence that it works. Maybe there's an example. Star card. Star says if someone can do it, you can do it. So if you have an example of something that you want to do, whatever it is, doesn't matter. If there's a person who's been successful, it says you can do it. So I feel like you just need to start investing your energy with these Six of Pentacles. Same thing in love as well. With the star here, this is you, puts you in a very strong position. I mean, I love that it shows up as you, but, that you're showing up as yourself in this first position really kind of makes the reading go in a more positive direction. But you can see that she's pouring water onto the land here. And the water that she's pouring onto the land, it represents the fact that if something's possible for one person, it's possible for you. That water is going out into the world, and that water comes from the pool of universal consciousness. She is like really able to, she's like giving people opportunities, kind of, is how I see this. And I feel there's some sort of opportunity coming in for you. I feel like there's a need to see the big picture as well. With the star card, like sometimes maybe we want to start a YouTube channel and we say, okay, I'll be happy if I get 1,000 subscribers. And it's not about being happy or not being happy, but what it's about is kind of living your full potential. You might say, I'm happy with 1,000 subscribers, and that's great. But if your potential is 1 million subscribers, then you should be making your goal 1 million subscribers. It's about kind of like not selling yourself short, but also understanding your true power. As I always say, one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn is, he says, how big does a tree grow? And he says, as much as possible, right? A tree doesn't stop growing, basically. And I'm sure some tree expert is going to pop up in the comments. This is an example for the tree expert. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Time to get to work. You have all the evidence. Like, literally, he has these oak leaves on his helmet, and those oak leaves represent knowledge and wisdom. He has everything he needs to plant the seeds in these fields. Funny enough, Six of Pentacles in my card are planting seeds. So it's like there's something you want to do, Aquarius. Could be anything. I feel like you just need to start doing it. I also can't get away from the fact that I feel like some of you have learned a lesson. I wouldn't really call it a lesson, like I said. I think that the word lesson gets overused, but, it's kind of like you learned something about a past relationship that maybe was toxic, or, maybe, kind of like I said in the beginning, maybe this person was like a little bit greedy with their time or something. I don't know. It's popping into my head. With the Two of Wands, you have the Four of Wands, portal card. We just had the 1111 portal the other day, depending on when you're watching this. And I feel that there is a portal here for you. I feel like the portal is still open. I actually don't think that this portal is going to close for you until probably like April of next year. Your third row is going to represent the next 6 months. I'm doing this because we had those eclipses. And, I think that we have this like energy between this eclipse season that we just had and the next one, which is going to be in April of 2023. So that third row is meant to represent this period of time, like what we can expect. And I kind of feel for you that there's like a portal, something you have to cross through, a threshold that you have to cross, right? And this threshold, it's going to lead to celebration. For some reason, I feel like some of you need to stop punishing yourself. That's not going to be true for all of you, but I think we all do this, right? But still, for some of you, I feel like maybe you're preventing yourself from having something that you truly want, almost as like a punishment. But I feel like this is saying stop, if that message is for you. For others, I do feel like it could be love, but it's like you're having to go through something, I feel. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look into that. Look at this. With the star, you have the world. Very powerful reading. A lot of these like major arcana, these more powerful major arcana showing up in your reading. So I feel there's definitely a portal. I always say that the world to me represents birth. It represents being birthed into a new world because we go from the Fool to the World. And, that's part of the Fool's journey in the major arcana. And I feel for a lot of you that you're you're kind of like going through this journey. That could also be why you're tired. Like I said, I get this kind of like tired feeling. Could also be Mars retrograde. So, as I always say, make sure to take plenty of rest and, all that other good stuff. You have next in the area, what are we doing? Oh yeah, the biggest change that's manifesting for you at this time. You have this fire spirit. It says energy. You have this dragon. It says power. Number one, I would face some fears with that dragon. Dragons guard fear. They guard gold, but dragons represent fears. When we face our fears, we get gold. And I also feel like you actually have the energy. I feel like you need to pay attention. Again, Mars retrograde, I think it's super important that, people always say, oh, like I hear some people saying like, oh, you're going to be tired. It's like, no, that's not true during Mars retrograde. You might be tired. There might be things that make you tired, but there will be other things maybe that just flow. And that's the whole point of Mars retrograde. It's like trying to point out, especially this one, I feel like it's trying to say like, what's efficient in your life, what kind of just has a nice flow to it, what doesn't exhaust you, what can you work on endlessly without getting tired, right? Are there some hobbies, or even in business, are there some activities that you can work on that give you energy, that don't take energy? I always tell people, it's like, the reason I do this, people always like, sometimes I'm sick, when I'm sick, which is like never, but people are always like, take time off. I'm like, no. It's like, this gives me energy. Sometimes I start my day super tired doing readings. I always feel way more energized by the end because it's like I'm channeling from source. So I'm channeling energy. It's not my energy, right? It's coming from source. And so I'm filling myself with energy when I do this. I always feel more alive. You can probably tell which reading I started with today, and you can probably tell who I'm ending with today as well. Who do you think it is? It's you. And I'm 10 times more energetic than I was when I started. So, as I say, like, if there's something that fills you with energy, that gets you excited, that gets you moving, that's what I'd be like kind of figuring out here. And I kind of feel that's what the big change is really that is going on during this period of time. Probably not just this month, probably for the next 6 months. You're discovering things that just have a better energetic return, which is great. You have the, by the way, this is the In-Between Tarot. And it represents the in-between energy of two cards. So you have the Moon to the Sun, you have the Nine of Wands to the Ten of Wands, and the Chariot to the Strength card. There's some sort of difference here. Number one, if you're attracting love, by the way, I do literally feel you could be attracting someone completely different than you. It's like your day and night is literally what's popping into my head here. But I feel like if it works, it works. Definitely feels like new love to me. I feel like there's a great, kind of like a great back and forth here. So you two could have like good, kind of conversations and stuff like that is what I feel, especially if you're attracting love. But I literally feel you're coming out of a moon period as well. You're entering into the sun period. The sun's coming up, more joy, more happiness, just more good things coming in for you. With the Nine of Wands to the Ten of Wands, I feel like you're so close. I mean, the Ten of Wands, I actually personally don't hate the Ten of Wands. I think it's a good card personally because, number one, the guy on the Ten of Wands, he planted those wands. Number two, he's about to have a harvest. He's walking to his home in the background, and he's about to have his harvest that he planted. It's like he's burdened. Yes, he's carrying a heavy weight, but he's about to get his reward. And I feel that for some of you. I also think that this is a pretty interesting Nine of Wands to Ten of Wands, the in-between energy. It's like someone could be encouraging you or helping you at this time. And again, with that dog barking card that you had at the beginning, I feel like there could be, I feel there's some like weird advice coming from a friend. I think it's just unusual in the sense that the way that they're giving it to you or what they are saying is probably not what you thought they were going to say. We always, like a lot of us, I think, we go to people for advice and we already know the advice that we want. We know what we want people to say. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But, I kind of get one of those feelings where it's like maybe you're asking a person advice. You already have an answer in mind that you want, which we all do that. And I feel like they give you a very different answer. And I would pay attention to that answer. There's something in that for you. You have the Chariot to the Strength card. And kind of interesting because, these are my two cards of control in the tarot. There are more cards of control, like the Emperor can represent controlling energy. The Wheel of Fortune can represent needing to take control. But the Chariot is a card of hard control. Strength is a card of soft control. And I'm wondering if again, that would make perfect sense with what I said about Mars retrograde. Like hard control is like trying to force things to happen. That strength energy is kind of working with what you got in allowing things to happen. And I think that's a major change that is happening for you, not just this month, but for like the next 6 months or so. And I think it's just going to add like a nicer flow to your life, make things a little bit easier, all that other stuff. I also see travel here coming in for you, Aquarius, with the Moon and the Sun. You have the Justice card, very interesting. You have the Justice card right next to the Justice card. So balance, equal give and take. I kind of feel like there could be some justice coming in for you. For some of you, it's very interesting. I'm just gonna show you on the after tarot here what's going on right next to it. You can see there's like a king receiving justice and also like this beggar receiving justice as well. But they're both being judged the same. It's like justice doesn't care who is in front of him or her, whatever justice is, right? Lady Justice? I don't know. But anyway, justice doesn't care. Justice, it kind of takes a neutral approach. Doesn't care if you're a king or a pauper. They both get judged the same. And there's something in that for you here, Aquarius. We're going to look more into that in a minute, but it keeps popping into my head, but I'm also not getting anything else. I don't want to keep repeating myself like a parrot, so we're going to come back to that. With the 9 of Wands to the 10 of Wands, you have the 3 Cups. Some sort of celebration coming in for you, and also definitely assistance. If you're struggling in any area of your life, I feel there's some sort of assistance coming in, probably from a friend. 3 Cups is a card of, teamwork makes the dream work. 2 celebration cards right next to each other as well. I'm getting here that if you're looking for love or if you're looking for any opportunity to spend time with people, now would be the time to socialize and all that other good stuff. With the Chariot and the Strength card, you have the High Priestess. For some reason, I thought you had the High Priestess twice, but you don't. So I feel like definitely needing to trust your intuition. I also feel you need to look into things that have potential, right? The High Priestess, she is the card of potential, which, the problem with potential is that it doesn't exist. Potential means nothing because it's like something can have potential, but until you put energy into it, whatever the thing that has potential is, it doesn't actually mean anything. But there's no roof over her head. So to me, there's like some sort of dream going on here between the Star, the Moon, the High Priestess, Chariot, and Strength. It's like there's something you really want in your life. And, what I feel like this is saying is that there's a lot of potential here. So what's going on with this potential? Let's see. In the area of the next 6 months, again, we're doing the next 6 months because this is really covering eclipse in between the eclipse seasons. So about 6 months. You have this Mending card and this Flexibility card. You also have this Fool card as well. I felt like it kind of belonged with these 2 cards for whatever reason. I kind of feel like this is saying that you need to take action on something, but you need to take action on like what's truly important in your life. For some of you, it's kind of like I'm getting almost like a scale in my head, not like the justice scales, but like a spectrum. I feel for some of you, it's like maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say working on what's important in your life, and you can just do it, right? For others, I almost feel like you're discovering what's important. And I'm not saying that you've been lied to or anything like that, Aquarius, but I definitely feel maybe you've had some experiences where, you kind of didn't judge situations correctly. And again, not a criticism. We all do this. We all, look at, this could be anything. For some of you, I feel like this is love related because of the Devil here. It's like maybe you thought someone was toxic and so you chose someone else. I kind of feel like a little bit of an oopsie here, Aquarius, where maybe you like made the wrong decision in love. Doesn't even have to be love though. Could be like maybe you made a bad financial decision or something like that. Just like a happy little accident, Bob Ross, right? And I kind of feel like this is saying there was like a little bit of an oopsie and now you're correcting it. I feel, and here's the thing, is if you didn't make the mistake, then you wouldn't be able to, see these mistakes in the future before they happen. So it's like we have to make mistakes because it allows us to avoid things in the future, right? But we have to have the experience first. I kind of get the feeling of like seeing something that you didn't want to see. Or, again, and take it how it resonates. Something happened here. It could be a mistake you made. It could be something else, right? So like I said, take it how it resonates. But it kind of reminds me of, Louise Hay. She used to say that the reason we have to see the bad stuff in life is because it's like if you're trying to clean your house and you can't see the dirt, then you can't clean it up. So, we have to sometimes be shown like things that we don't want, right? We have to sometimes be shown things that maybe we feel like aren't great for us. But at the same time, really, I feel that this is leading to like a healing. You have that Mending card and that Flexibility card. It's making you more flexible. The reason we want to be more flexible is because when you're like a Swiss Army knife in life, when you have multiple tools, when you've learned all these things, you become like a triple threat and you can accomplish a lot more. That's what this looks like to me, Aquarius. And you have these 7 of Cups here. Again, I feel for some of you, this is definitely a love situation where someone thought they had something. I have no clue what's going on here, but I don't know. I feel like you're moving on from it. For others, I do feel there's a need to focus again, but you can see like he's got this gold, but the snake wrapped around him, that it looks like it's going to bite him. So I kind of feel for some of you, it's like maybe you grabbed onto the wrong thing or whatever. And it's almost like you're kind of correcting this situation. Even you have the Four of Pentacles here, which it has that death person behind the Four of Pentacles. So it's almost like some of you have had to like release something that you were holding on to. Other than that, I would say you always get the Seven of Cups. I feel like there's something that you need to bring down to earth. How? Well, Two of Wands. We talked about this earlier. Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles. Needing to leave a comfort zone, Aquarius. It's quite simple. Your reading's very simple. I feel that I'm making it more overcomplicated than it actually needs to be, as always. And I feel like you just need to take a leap of faith on some sort of new opportunity here. With the Justice card, you have the Knight of Swords. No rushing to judgment, right? Or justice. But really, I feel judgment. Knight of Swords, we can be a little bit hasty, make choices too quickly, and maybe that's what happened in the past. But I feel like you're correcting this in the future. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Four of Cups. I feel that there have been a lot of disappointments. I feel like you need to let these disappointments go. And, again, I feel like there could be some opportunities for you to see what you learned from these mistakes that you've made and, fix it in the future. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Six of Swords. Moving on. Like I said, moving on to calmer shores. I feel like you've definitely been through it this year, 2022. And I feel like you're finally moving on to calmer shores in 2023. We even see this with, the sun and the moon. Or sorry, the moon to the sun in this reading. It's kind of like things are improving. The thing is you have the sun and the star technically. And to me, that's like fame and fortune. So I feel there's a lot of attention coming in for you as well. Next in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Dolphin card. It says playfulness, cooperation. Three of Cups, cooperation. You also have this Anchor. It says stability and security on it. There is something about the chain and stability. It's like I feel like you're connecting. I wouldn't even say you're connecting dots because it's more just like a chain that you are connecting together. And it's like this is going to lead to a lot of success in your life. You have the Six of Wands. So whatever connections you're making at this time, it could have to do with some past mistakes. But again, like I said, I think that Mars retrograde can sometimes be a little bit of a triggering time. And that could be what's going on here is that because of Mars retrograde, maybe some mistakes are being pointed out to you that you've made. This happens to all of us, like I said. And you're just, correcting it in the future, which is exactly, how you should be working with the energy anyway. You have the Six of Wands, the Devil, and the Nine of Cups. I do feel like it could be, if you're looking for love, could be a Capricorn coming in for you. I actually feel pretty good about this. Devil energy, so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't with the Devil. Could be a Capricorn. I also feel good about this for work. I personally like the Devil for work because he can represent being responsible in work, in business, and all those other things. And look, you have the Six of Wands, success, abundance, good news, good things coming in for you. I would just ignore negative talk from other people. Again, Mars retrograde. I always say there's like a jealous person right here above my finger. That person's meant to look jealous. And it basically just says, ignore jealous people, ignore the haters, and you'll be perfectly fine. You also have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is like wishes and wish fulfillment. So I do feel that it's good. It would be a good time for you to focus on fulfillment and to also focus on kind of like making a wish. There's something here about needing to make things a little bit easier as well, which I'm pretty sure I said this earlier in the reading, but it's also come up for other people as well where, I was talking about efficiency, right, and becoming efficient. And there's something here about that. Like maybe in work or business, you need to be more efficient. It's not like that you won't be working hard. It's more that you're just going to be working on things that actually matter. I feel like I said this to you recently as well. With the Six of Wands, you have the Five of Swords. Yeah, it could be some sort of separation or breakup, but it looks like you're healing from it with that Mending card. For others, I feel that, it's like, it's the story of the Six of Wands. The whole point of the Six of Wands is that he's coming back from war. He's being cheered on, but he's still been to war. He has still experienced death, loss, all the bad things, right, from war. So I feel like some of you could be in that space. Maybe you need to take some time to heal. Maybe you haven't literally been to war, but you've maybe experienced a lot of loss recently or some challenges over the past year or so. And now I feel like you are kind of like coming back. You're being celebrated. So it's like things are working out, but there could still be that feeling of loss. So it might just be something that needs to be worked on here. With the Devil, you have the Page of Wands, definitely a new person. If it's not a Capricorn, it could be a fire sign. So some of you could be attracting a fire sign. And with the Nine of Cups, you have the Page of Swords. For some reason, I thought I saw the Page of Swords twice here as well. I don't know. I'm losing my mind today. But, I feel for some of you, this is saying, you need to look into your blessings. I feel like there are blessings that you don't have that you want. And the Page of Swords just says get curious about it. I don't know. That's what's popping into my head is that you need to get curious about your blessings. We're going to, no, we're not. Well, for some reason that's not working. So I'm going to pull 3 cards right now. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 cards here. And that camera died apparently. And so I have 3 cards. I'm going to answer 1 question. If you don't have a question, that's fine. I will just be answering. I'll be putting them all together as like a personalish reading. But here are the 3 cards that I just pulled. Feel free to pause this reading because I'm going to read these cards right now. So pause it if you need time to think. You have the Strength card, the Empress, and the Ace of Swords. Definitely victory coming in for you. I feel like you've been waiting for something or you're asking about something you've been waiting, like maybe communication. This is a victory. I'm also getting something about an approval as well. So if you're like waiting for approval or if you're hoping to get approved for something, this is definitely approval. For all of you, I feel you're very attractive at this time. There is a lot of attention in your reading. Sun, Star, the World even can be a card of attention. And you have this Power card. And you also have that Fire Spear card, the Energy card. So it's like something I feel needs to be presented to the world. And this makes perfect sense with all the Aquarius energy that we're going to be experiencing. I think Aquarius, it's like we're entering into the time of Aquarius. Star is about shining your inner light. It's about being a positive example for other people. So if there's something you can do in your life to inspire other people, could be anything. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how big or small it is either. Then I would be doing that because it's just going to lead to a lot of abundance and a victory for you, Aquarius. Pretty intense reading. I like this. I kind of like where I see this going as well. Definitely healing as well. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.